Yo, it's Triclops here. Just going over some Season 2 buffs for Zangief. We're going to cover quite a few things because he got quite a few buffs. Alright, the first thing we're going to cover is his damage boost, a damage buff. All of his normals basically do more damage than they did. His stand heavy punch does more damage. Hold on, let me turn block off. His heavy punch does more damage, does 1,000. Used to do less. His headbutt does more damage, that also does 1,000. His hell stab basically just got a damage boost everywhere. So that's going to be huge for him, basically, in beating people up. Charge heavy punch also does more damage. So he's eating good right now for damage. I mean, he already, did a lot with SPDs, but a lot of his combos were lacking damage. So you really on that lookout for grab, but now you have to actually respect his damage in a lot of situations he puts you in. So that's one huge buff that he got that's definitely going to make him more dangerous. In addition to his damage buff, check out what he does on block. Check out what he does to your drive gauge. So his drive gauge now, he just destroys it. If you charge that heavy punch, check this out. He just takes a whole drive gauge block. Like it's just gone. So like if I get that refill off, the immediate refill, and just leave it to standard, like look at this. It just wail on somebody and it's just gone. So, they can't just block now. Now they have to make decisions. Now they have to move. Like blocking against Geef is going to be a real problem. So obviously if you're doing this, they're going to start trying to parry, which means you can get your scoops. So yeah, that's going to create a whole layer of issues. I mean, all of his moves do more drive gauge damage, not just that one. They're all doing more. Headbutt does quite a bit. Headbutt and the hell stab, like that's like a frame trap anyway. So like you're basically guaranteed to take a block just off of safe pressure, like off of Oki. So you're already like eating through their drive gauge, just doing your regular stuff that you always would do. So this definitely makes him more of a threat already, just what he can do to your drive gauge. So a couple things that changed with his buttons. Crouch medium kick is now more plus. So that's definitely useful, especially on hit now. He has a few more combo routes now. So let me turn block off again. Definitely has 3 more combo routes. So if I drive rush with crouch medium kick, I can now link it in the hell stab. Didn't link that time, but you can. So now I can get a 2-hit combo off that. So now if that hits, I can get a 3-hit combo conversion for 2,600 plus. So that's huge, which also means that you can link it into more stuff. You can link it into a super, do more damage, obviously. And all of that was for 1 bar. So there's 1 bar just to get in. If they're trying to get away from an SPD, now the threat of getting hit with crouch medium kick is much, much higher. Just off that alone, that's if I'm spending 2 bars. But just off going, just even for the regular, oh wow, I wasn't close enough. But just even like the regular hell stab into that's still 2,600 damage just for trying to jump away. You're basically taking SPD damage anyway. Well, you're basically taking SPD damage anyway. 2,500 versus 2,600. You're actually better off taking the SPD at that point. That's a light SPD, so obviously So obviously if I'm doing like if I drive rush in for like a 3,300, a little bit of a trade off. But either way, the Geef player is gonna walk away with something. That's great, because that actually makes him a lot more threatening just in his combo routes. He has a few more excellent combo routes we're going to discuss in a second, but I did want to point that out. It's like that's just like a nice utility route. It's cheap. It's 1 drive bar. You can link it to other things. Oh wow, I think I did. Yeah, but you can link it to other things. Obviously, you can meter burn it. And, go into super. You can go into his level 3 off that. So all of a sudden, like that crouch medium kick off the drive rush has a lot more utility. It's a lot scarier to the opponent to just take that. A lot of times, you could just try to backdash to get away from SPD off of a drive rush. You're just gonna eat a crouch medium kick. It's not a big deal. Now it can be a big deal. So this is a huge buff for Geef to create Oki pressure off his SPDs and like really be able to like not bully a lot per se, because there's still a lot of ways you can kind of get around it. You could always just block. I mean, it's not the most threatening thing, but it does make the opponent have to think a lot harder about making decisions of avoiding the grab. Do I just want to take the kick? Like now you actually don't want to take the kick because you can actually lose quite a bit of damage for it. So that's a massive buff for him. Alright, so this next buff is probably one of the more useful as far as like his combo utility. It just really adds to his game. Like this is mostly just like heavier combos, but like his crouch medium punch, which was basically one of those buttons that was kind of never used like as an anti-air or just a button you use in general, just because it was slow. You didn't get a lot off of it. It was super minus on block. Now that they've made some changes to it as a punish counter, it's actually going to be really useful. So you can actually like get like real combos off of it now. If I can actually like not drop. So yeah, so off that combo, just, you know, no bar, 3165. Like it's actually like, you know, real damage now off of doing that crouch heavy punch. Okay. Alright, another great buff he got was to the stomp he has. That was, again, kind of going on with the theme of the crouching heavy punch. Was basically just useless. It didn't combo on hit or block, so it was just kind of a waste of a move. But now it's special cancelable on the second hit. So if you go for it, you can combo it in the lariat. So it actually makes it a good mix-up now. You know, now if you get hit, maybe they just kind of sit there hoping they can block the lariat. Now you can get a scoop in. Obviously, you can always just... Oh, whoops, I did that wrong. But obviously, you can always just go for the second one. Boom, and you're in. So, you know, it actually gives them a different low. Another thing to look for, a low combo that actually leads to something. So just one more thing for them to kind of think about. So that's another useful buff. You got a lot of buffs in this. Another change they made was to the Air SPD, aka Borscht Dynamite. They kind of made it easier to do without having to always do the overdrive version. So they kind of gave him a couple new routes that are a little useful. So like off the headbutt, which you always kind of had to deal with, kind of like going at it by spinning bar to combo the air headbutt into it, you no longer have to do that. So that, you know, now you don't have to spin bar. That was 2 bars you didn't have to spin for getting really good damage. Now you're getting pretty close to that, meterless. So that also opens up some new things for his punish counter routes as well. So, for example, like one of my things I would like to do, if I had more meter, if I had like, you know, close to full meter, I would, instead of going for SPD punish counter, I would go for something like this. And, you know, you get 4100, which was, you know, good damage, and you know, you're not too far away from the opponent. But, you know, obviously it's expensive, so you can only go for that under really considerable situations, especially considering that in Season 1, Zangief would constantly be burning his drive gauge trying to either get in, be stuck in block strings, or, you know, just, you know, trying to anti with OD Lariat. You know, the list goes on and on. But now you can do some of those same routes for less damage, obviously, but still more than you would otherwise be getting. So I'm actually, I think if you get a heavy SPD, that's actually going to do more damage. Yeah, but in some cases where it's a little further away, you can still kind of get some of those things happening.